legend tells. At the peak of the highest mountain in all the lands. There lay dormant for thousands of years. A mystical crown, untouched, with the power to rule all of mankind. Lusted by men. Willing to die for its gift. Sacrificing everything. Before them, a terrifying journey awaits.
In my lifetime, I have seen many strong and brave warriors pass this way to claim the crown. I have not seen them since.
Unspeakable horrors. Relentless agony. A wasteland of the fallen. Hunted from the shadows. They danced with death. But the two defied the fate of mortals. Knocking down thousands before them. Braving the path to glory. Challenging every fiber of their being. While two emerged undefeated. There could be only one possible outcome. For one to wield the power to rule them all.
Welcome everybody, a very warm welcome to another fine evening in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Today is press conference day, so it's got a slightly different vibe to it. The first couple of days, the grand arrivals and the open workouts is a bit more relaxed, a bit looser, a bit more fluid. It gives fighters a chance to ease their way into fight week really and just take in their surroundings, see what this is all about. The press conference just a bit more formal, a bit more traditional, and therefore things can tend to get a little bit more serious. Joining me for the opening few minutes, I've got Matt Macklin, and Hall of Famer from Top Rank, Mr. Brad Jacobs, who never wears his ring. It's a constant disappointment to me, Macklin.
My hand will be down low, so I can't.
He never wears his ring. Frotch wears his sometimes. And you were the same intake as him, but
right.
Yeah, not for you. I understand. So let's talk Artur Beterbiev. He's your guy in the main event. You've been doing this a long time. It's just an unbelievable fight.
There's so much on the line. It's incredible. You've got undefeated on the line, undisputed on the line. Guy who wins, definitely going to the Hall of Fame. Be one of my mates in the Hall of Fame. It's just incredible. I don't think there's been excitement in the light heavyweight division since the great Roy Jones Jr., who I had a lot of experience with, being with him for 6 years. So it's an incredible matchup.
Give us a bit of an insight into Beterbiev if you can, because it's become a bit of a running joke this week and over the last couple of years that he doesn't really say anything. He's perfectly pleasant. He's not bristling with aggression or trying to intimidate anybody. It's just how he is. I mean, behind the scenes, is he any different to what we see? What
you see is what you get. This is what he is. I mean, he's got a little bit better personality and jokes a little bit, not necessarily during fight week, but he's all about business, and that's the way he acts in the ring as well.
Matt, we've been talking during the week about the experience of navigating fight week and how important it is for some of the less experienced fighters on the card. And one thing they would do well to do is just look at the two guys at the top, because they do not waste an ounce of emotional energy in the build-up. I'd imagine that they will flick that switch to go into fight mode as late as they possibly can, maybe when they're getting their hands wrapped, maybe even on the ring walk. They're that experienced that they can do that.
Yeah, I think it'll be gradual. These are veterans. This isn't their first rodeo. They know exactly how to navigate fight week. They know which events that get a little bit spicier. We're in the final press conference now, so it's Thursday before the fight. The weigh-in's tomorrow. We're getting closer, so people generally get a little bit edgier now, and this final press conference is the final chance that either guy gets to maybe plant that seed of doubt in the opponent's head. Beterbiev is a man of few words. Bivol, doesn't say much more. But look, it'll be interesting to see what they say.
And from a kind of business point of view, Brad, one thing I think we all agree on with this fight is that without Riyadh season, it's one of the ones that may well have got away, because they're both so good. They need to get paid for this, but it was probably the kind of fight that without this platform would struggle to pay for itself, because they're just both brilliant, but they don't make a lot of noise, so they're not huge names in across the more general sporting world. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. There are certain fights, we've seen them already. Usyk and Tyson Fury. This is one good example. That probably does not happen without the support of His Excellency in Riyadh season. It's just a matter of fact. He is able to put the finances up enough that it now makes it interesting for the fighters to participate and not just say no.
And that's why, for me, this is kind of a jewel of Riyadh season, this fight, because yes, there were problems with Fury, Usyk. There have been problems at heavyweight for a few years now, getting the main contenders together. A few fights have fallen by the wayside, but this is that one that we may well not have gotten, and it would have been such a shame if we hadn't got it, because this could be, for all of us, this could be one of the best fights we'll ever see.
Well, on paper, this is one of the best fights in boxing in any way, if not the best, but neither guy are massive names with that crossover appeal to the mainstream. It's, you'd really need to be a boxing fan to know Bivol and Beterbiev, but with Riyadh season bankrolling it, providing the funds, we finally get to see the best fight, both undefeated, both I would imagine in the pound for pound list. It's a fantastic fight.
Yeah, I would argue to say that it's the most important fight of the year, actually.
And whilst we've got you, let's have a quick chat about December the 21st, because the undercard was announced yesterday. Perfect time to do it in the middle of a big fight week. Tyson's had quite a lot to say in the last couple of weeks. I've liked it because he's decided in his own mind how to kind of sell that defeat to himself and come back from it, basically. Yeah. And it's been fighting talk, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's a different world for Tyson. He's never been in that position before to lose a fight and have that on his record. He wants to come back, be the undisputed champion. It's going to be a tough fight. There's no question about it. But if anyone can do it, he's the guy to do it.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It was such a good fight the first time around. And me and Matt were saying just yesterday that in the UK, probably because Tyson didn't win, people have tended to forget a bit too quickly just what an amazing fight it was. Brad, great to see you. We'll let you go.
You guys.
And we will swap in Mr. Ezra Taylor light heavyweight contender and also stablemate of Frazer Clarke's up at Loughborough with Angel Fernandez. Let's have a quick chat about that fight, Ezra. And just so people know, actually, the press conference is being split into two. So it's the undercard, then we'll have about a 15-minute break, and then the chief support, which is Fabio Wardley, Frazer Clarke, and the top of the bill, Beterbiev against Bivol, they'll take to the stage. How's Frazer looking? To us, he looks really good this week. He seems confident. He seems like he is clear in his own mind what he needs to do differently this time. I could say exactly the same thing of Fabio Wardley. You've been around Frazer. Fill us in.
He seems calm. He looks composed. He's looking sharp. He did a session yesterday just to keep the motor running. And I can't lie to you, I'm excited for the fight because I've been in camp with him. I've seen what he's improved on, what he's executing, what he's implementing. And I feel like Saturday's his night. I feel like that's when he will be able to return with something that he probably should have got in the last fight. It was a hell of a fight between both of them. A lot of respect for Wardley. But I'm Team Clark, man, and I feel like he's going to get the job done.
Matt, do you think that that's one of the fights where we might see a little bit of action at the press conference in a few minutes' time? Because Fabio will definitely try to get under Frazer's skin and see if he can get a little bit of a bite out of him. Frazer, I think he sort of half enjoys sparring with Fabio, but he doesn't want to get too involved because he knows that's more his kind of arena than Frazer's.
Yeah, I think that you summed it up perfectly. I think he knows that Wardley's probably a little bit sharper, quicker-witted, isn't he? So he knows don't fight a fight that doesn't suit me. So he laughs it off. And Wardley's, it's never distasteful or disrespectful. He just tries to jab him a little bit, prod him a little bit with that little, put him down a little bit, that sort of air of superiority in a funny kind of way. So it's quite, it's not malice.
Ezra, do you feel like we'll see a stoppage in that fight? Because a 12-round war at heavyweight is pretty unusual, and to be honest with you, although it's great for us to watch, it's not really what you want as a fighter. Maybe you want to do it once to prove you can do it, but you don't really want to go to that well too many times. Do you feel like Frazer's gunning for the stoppage?
I believe so. I can't lie. I can't really see the fight going past 8 rounds because I feel like they both want to get each other out of there in this 5 rounds. You know, when you have a fight with someone, even with just a spot, but they've had a 12-round fight. They've shared 12 rounds with each other. They know each other's power, speed. They know what they're good at, what they're not good at. So I feel like they'll both be going in for the kill. I think I even recall Wardley talking about taking him out in 6. I don't think that's going to happen, but I know Frazer's got more than enough ability to get him out. And like I said, I feel like that's going to be before 8.
And joining us is Hamzah Sheeraz, Riyadh season ambassador,
Reunited,
undefeated fighter. I'm going to have to stick it straight on you here, Hamzah.
Yep.
Janibek.
Yep.
You were made mandatory for Janibek, the WBO and IBF middleweight champion yesterday. I had a quick chat with Frank when he came up here. He said at that point, then this was yesterday, he hadn't spoken to you.
Yep.
What are your feelings on it?
I mean, I'd be a fool not to go for it. Do you know what I mean? I've shared plenty around sparring with him, so I've got some sort of gist what he's about, how hard he hits and whatnot. But listen, I've worked all my career to get in the position I'm in now, so let's go. Let's get it all.
And let's just take you back 3 weeks to Wembley, because that was a huge night and a big performance. What was it like for you performing on that kind of stage? You boxed here.
Yeah.
96,000 people at Wembley Stadium it's like nothing else, really.
Do you know, it's probably not the answer you want, but it's exactly like fighting all my other fights. I was so laser focused, tunnel vision, that I didn't even acknowledge, probably when I was fighting, 80,000 were there. I didn't even acknowledge none of it. I went in there with a plan, stuck to it, done what I had to do, and then just got out there and then carried on with what I'm doing. And I've always been someone who, once the job's done, I never like to reflect on it. I like to just keep moving forward. So let's see what's next.
Matt, it's your old division, of course, the middleweight division. It's always been a marquee division. There's good fighters in it at the minute. It does seem more open than it was when Golovkin was around, dominating for that, what was a long period of time in the end. You've seen him up close recently. I mean, he's ready, isn't he? He was in with the European champion last time out, and we saw what he did. There's what else is there to do now other than challenge for world titles?
Yeah, I think definitely he back himself, believe in himself, and go for it. He's there. He's earned the shot. He should take it with both hands, definitely.
Back to you, Ezra. There's another light heavyweight fight on the card, of course. Ben Whittaker up against Liam Cameron. I feel like Liam Cameron will come at Whittaker. Not reckless, not gung-ho, he's a good fighter, but I think for the first time maybe, or certainly unlike Ezra Aronika, who was actually quite cautious in the end, I think Cameron will bring it to Whittaker's door. Do you think that'll suit him? Is that what he needs at this stage?
I believe Liam Cameron knows that he has to put it on him. Give someone like Ben Whittaker space, it's going to be a hard night. You know, he's a very good boxer and he's good at what he does, the hit and move style, but I feel like he'll probably prove too much. I think he has more skill as well. Again, taking nothing away from Cameron, but you know, it's a good. I don't even know if you want to call it a step up in a sense, but you know, we'll see what happens, man. You know, I feel like he's just gonna do what he normally does, and I feel like this is a perfect opponent for him to do that too as well.
Well, he's up on the top table now, Ben Whittaker, on that stage behind us. Pretty much everybody is assembled. We've got that fight for the WBC featherweight title, of course, between Raven Chapman and Skye Nicolson. Chris Eubank goes at middleweight against Hamzah Sheeraz. We did think we might see Chris Eubank in the ring with our man here, Hamzah Sheeraz, at Wembley. It wasn't to be. It really is a very, very good undercard to get stuck into from every angle that you look at it. Thomas Triber poised and almost ready to go, but I think by the look of it, we've probably got a few more minutes in the tank yet before we get going. Hamzah, from your point of view, looking on at somebody like Ben Whittaker, who's making that progress in his career and the way he's going about things, is he someone you've spent any time around, done any rounds with him at all?
No, never. My last three opponents, there seem to be sparring him in preparation for me, which I think makes no sense at all. But yeah, it is what it is. Listen, he's doing his thing. But listen, I just want to say, standing here now, I've trained with this man here, Ezra, and I'm telling you now, he's the man at 175 coming from the UK. And I'm not saying that because he's here. I've trained with many guys. He's about his business, man.
And on that top table as well, we've got Jai Opetaia and Jack Massey. The Sky crew was down at the gym to see Massey train today, and the reports that came back were good, Matt, that he looks very, very focused, that he looks like he's right where he needs to be, and he looks confident, because that's absolutely key. We saw Opetaia yesterday, didn't we? And he is, we use the same word with him every time, he's intense, like every second of his life. I don't know how he does it. It's absolutely exhausting. But if Massey has got that confidence that he's not going to be overawed in any way, and he feels like this is definitely a fight he can win, then it's not half the battle, but it's a big bit of it.
Yeah, look, I think Massey's obviously the underdog, but I think he's a live underdog. You know, he won't. I don't think he'll fear Opetaia. I think he'll go in there and take the fight to him, not recklessly, but I think he'll get. You know what I mean? He'll believe in himself. Now, I thought Opetaia looked on fire, but Massey, I'm told, looked really good too.
Okay, here's Thomas Triber.
A great night of World Championship Boxing this Saturday from Kingdom Arena in beautiful Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Jia, Turkey, Al-Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, Jia, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Aram for Top Rank Incorporated, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Gold Star Promotions, Boxer, World of Boxing, and Sella, along with our great sponsors: Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudia Airlines, New Muraba Development Company, and Lucid Motors. A big thanks to those great sponsors. This great event will be shown in the UK and worldwide on DAZN, in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office and Sky Sports Box Office, and in the United States, the main event exclusively shown on ESPN+. Let's now welcome the Part 1 participants of today's press conference. Jesus Gonzalez. Mighty Mohammed Alakel. Liam Cannonball Cameron. Ben the Surgeon Whittaker. The Omen Raven Chapmen. Future Undisputed Skye Nicolson. Camille Szeremeta. Chris Eubank Jr. Jack One Smack Massey. Jai Opetaia. And now, here is your host, Mr. Devsani.
Thank you, Thomas Treiber. Brilliant announcements, as always, as we expect from Thomas Treiber. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Wherever you are joining us around the world, you are very, very welcome. Just as we catch our breaths from an epic night at Wembley Stadium, we are now just hours away from another Riyadh season special. And in the space of 1 year, Riyadh season has completely changed the face of boxing. We have witnessed a series of magical Arabian nights around the world with twists and turns, all writing new chapters, new pages into boxing's history books. Who can forget Tyson Fury's fights with Francis Ngannou, Alexander Usyk in Riyadh? The world was watching on in awe. Los Angeles played host as pound-for-pound star Terence Crawford became a world champion in weight division number 4. And just last month, Wembley Stadium, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, attendance records were broken, and we heard a huge Wembley Stadium roar. Each of these Riyadh season events are knockout after knockout after knockout, and that knockout streak very much continues on Saturday night. The Four Crowns Showdown will pit Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol finally in together. We will decide the first undisputed world light heavyweight champion of the 4-belt era. It's everything that Riyadh season is about. It's the best versus the best. And as you can see from this part of the undercard here, we've got some star power, we've got some raw power, and we've got some fighters very much at the forefront of history. Let's speak to a young man making his professional debut from Saudi Arabia, born in Riyadh, Mohammed Alakel. Mohammed, great to see you. You got a great ovation last night at the workout. You had the Saudi Arabian flag. You must have been watching Riyadh season thinking, I want to be part of this. Big night for you.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. 3 days away, all the hard work is done, so yeah.
What is the dream?
To reach the top and become a world champion.
You going to make Saudi Arabia proud?
100%.
Good man, thank you. You will be taking on Jesus Gonzalez. Jesus, an opportunity for you on a big stage to come and spoil the party. Tell us how you're going to win.
Jesus, es una gran oportunidad para ti en lo más alto de boxeo. ¿Por qué crees que estás capacitado para dar la sorpresa y decepcionar a los fans locales que van a estar apoyando a tu rival?
Pues venimos trabajando duro para ese momento. Siempre me he sentido capacitado no solamente para esa, sino para mis peleas anteriores. No me gusta dar detalles tampoco. De donde vengo, en Colombia siempre se dice que es mejor hacer las cosas callado y dejar que el momento hable por sí solo, con la bendición de Dios y para adelante. Lo que sí me queda por decir es que gozaré el momento, bendecido me siento, y también agradezco a los promotores por esa oportunidad de estar aquí en una de las veladas que la verdad, wow, sorprendido y feliz porque sé que voy con un buen oponente.
Well, he's enjoying the moment to the max. He's very, very surprised how nicely the people is treating him, but he has been working all his life not only to take this opportunity, but every single fight on his life. He doesn't want to go into the detail, but he has a hard life up there in Colombia, and they want just to make the moment to speak for itself. He's ready for whatever, to be at the top of his game, to take the opportunity of his life, and he wishes his opponent luck as well.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jesus. Thank you, Mohammed, as well. Big fight on Saturday, the debut of Mohammed Alakel. Well, let's move to the light heavyweight division. Of course, we know the main event is Beterbiev Bivol, but we've got two light heavyweights here who also want to achieve big things in the sport. It's the Riyadh season debut of Olympic silver medalist Ben Whittaker, but he's in deep. He's in what should be the toughest test of his career against Liam Cameron. Liam, I'm gonna come to you first. Ben Whittaker is a man who has a bit of a target on his back. He's got people talking. Why are you the man to beat him?
Because I'm the Sheffield's Beterbiev, and I believe in myself.
Sheffield's Beterbiev.
100%.
Tell me, you've mentioned something about Naz wannabes. I heard you say something like, I've seen plenty of Naz wannabes over the years. Is that all Ben Whittaker is to you, a wannabe?
No, not really. He's a silver medalist, but we've seen a lot of Naz wannabes. I think Naz said there's nothing like him, but we'll see, innit?
Do you want him to showboat against you?
I hope so.
Well, let's hear from the surgeon, Ben Whittaker. It's a Riyadh season debut. I heard you say that you've been boxing guys like this since you were about 10 years old.
Yeah, man. You see these kids in the gym all the time. Come forward, swinging like a madman. That's music to my ears.
We're just going to have a special pause to welcome a special guest. Bear with us. Okay, at this moment, I'd like to welcome His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Great to have you here, Your Excellency. Ben Whittaker. So, this is the man, right? People are saying Liam Cameron will take you into deep waters. He's the toughest test of your career. Do you believe it?
Well, it's a good job I can swim. All the yapping's over now. The hard work's being done. Saturday, I'm hoping to turn up in good shape. So I'm in amazing shape. I'm feeling smooth, I'm feeling sharp. And if you don't turn up how I expect him to turn up, it's going to be an early night.
Like Ezra.
Bro, you said you're a Sheffield Beterbiev. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Is it?
Just be yourself. Turn up Saturday, and I'll punch that big-ass nose off your head.
You've cut your noodle head, haven't you?
Hey, man, I look fly. I don't know what you look like.
Yeah.
You look like you're an Ibiza with them shorts.
Yeah, you're cocky, mate. No one
No,
likes
it's
you in
confidence because I work so hard.
No one likes
I work
you in British
hard,
boxing, mate.
3 times a day.
You've done it all yourself.
Ask Grant about me. They know what I do to people like you.
Better.
They know what I do to people like you.
You've been showboating.
They know what I do to people like you. You stand there, you get hit all day. It's going to be a long night for you, man. I hope you make it home nice and safe after this, but I'm going to brook you up in that ring.
Yeah, and same as Ezra. We've heard it all before.
Yeah, man. I've heard it all before as well.
Liam, what do you think people will be saying about Ben Whittaker on Saturday night?
He's amazing. He stole the show. Damn, that boy is good.
This guy thinks he can beat Bivol and
That's what they'll be saying. What, so you don't think you can? You're in the wrong sport then. If you don't think you can beat them,
you've got to be real with yourself.
You're in the wrong... I'm real with myself. Your hardest fight was Lyndon, who's washed up. Exactly.
IBO world champion.
I don't care what
Number 6 in the world. Who have you boxed? The guy,
I'll be boxing you.
The Leon guy took 3 rounds off.
Hey, put me in there with Lyndon. It would have been smoke season. Like I'm going to smoke you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Liam.
Thank you very much.
So there's 2 light heavyweight fights this Saturday. I think we got a little bit more out of Liam and Ben than what we maybe will out of Beterbiev and Bivol later, but do stay with us for that. Brilliant fight on Saturday night. Let's keep things moving. We have a little bit of history. The first female world title fight in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will take place on Saturday. It's the first female fight of Riyadh season. Skye Nicolson defends her WBC featherweight title against the challenger Raven Chapmen. Now, Raven, I'm going to start with you. You say you treat every fight, really, like a world title fight. Well, this one actually is. There's the belt. There's Skye. Tell us what's going on in your mind.
Firstly, we'd just like to say a big thank you to Turkey for this opportunity and for Frank and Eddie also for making it happen. It's the belt I've wanted. You know, we've been going down that WBC route and now's the opportunity. This one's the actual world title fight and I'll make sure it goes the same way as all my other fights have gone.
I've heard you say that you are a nightmare for Skye Nicolson and that she will hate every second in there against you. Tell us why.
It's how I fight. It's how I make all my opponents feel when I'm in the ring. I don't think any opponent I've had has enjoyed any second of a fight that we've had. And Saturday it's going to be exactly the same.
Let's bring in the champion, Skye Nicolson, here. You've had a smile on your face all week. You look like you enjoy every second. But Raven says you're going to hate every second on Saturday.
I think she's going to hate every second of Saturday. She's definitely never fought anyone like me. And she says what she's done to all her other opponents, but it's going to be a very, very different story on Saturday night.
I've heard you say, Skye, that you always see your opponents get frustrated. You see that frustration in their eyes. How long do you think it will take before Raven is frustrated on Saturday night?
Very early in round one.
We'll see.
Raven, you've every right to reply.
I'm not like any opponent she's faced either, so we can both say that she's had opponents that have been very much picked for her style. I'm not that. I'm not good for her style.
I've had aggressive punches come at me for 10 rounds and not land a shot.
In a straight line.
What did you say, sorry?
Just come at you in a straight line. No real boxing ability there. They've been picked very well for your style.
Well, you'll come at me at angles and the same thing's going to happen.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see.
Raven, you've got plenty of support with you, by the way. We can hear you, Team Chapman out here, Team Oman. But tell me this: you don't believe Skye Nicolson. You've said this a few times because look, Skye's very confident. She's every right to be. But you're saying it's false confidence. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I just think she's trying to portray this aura of high confidence that I just don't believe it. I don't believe she's as confident as she's trying to portray that she is.
If she's seen me at every other fight week, in my last 11 fights, I'm always this confident because I back myself. I know the hard work I've done. I know what I'm capable of. And this week is absolutely no different.
Well, Skye, I know you believe in manifestation. What have you manifested for yourself on Saturday night?
12-0, 12th of October, and still.
And Raven, your right of reply as challenger heading into Saturday.
And the new 10-0, another KO.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Two brilliant fighters, two unbeaten fighters. History in the kingdom. The first world female title fight in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the first female fight of Riyadh season. Cannot wait for that one. Well, let's head to the middleweight division where one of the enigmas of professional boxing and Chris Eubank Jr makes his return, makes his Riyadh season debut against Hamzah Sheeraz, former European champion. And Camille, I'm going to come to you first. This is a big opportunity. A lot of people want to fight Chris Eubank. You are fighting him. How are you going to beat him on Saturday?
Dlaczego to ty jego pokonasz?
Na wstępie chciałbym przywitać wszystkich tutaj serdecznie i podziękować organizatorom za to, że mogę tu być.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizers.
Jestem doświadczonym zawodnikiem, dużo widzę, mam dobrą obronę, a resztę po prostu chcę pokazać w sobotę wieczorem i wygrać tę walkę. Kocham się bić, kocham boks.
I'm well experienced, I'm smart in the ring. I can adapt my style. I can switch my style. I love to fight.
Okay, thank you, Hamzah Sheeraz. Chris Eubank Jr, Riyadh season debut. It looks like you are embracing the culture. Tell us how you're feeling ahead of what should be an active year for you, where you've got plenty of plans, Chris.
Well, right now I'm very hot and I'm very thirsty. That's how I feel. But I'm ready. I'm confident. I look good in this Saudi attire. I feel strength. And this is an amazing event. It's an amazing city. We have amazing people here, and I'm ready to put on a show.
Chris, we've seen a lot of upsets in Riyadh season, particularly from fighters coming off a bit of a layoff. Deontay Wilder, it's happened a few times. How do you ensure that you don't fall victim to that on Saturday?
A lifetime's worth of preparation and dedication is how you make sure you don't slip up on fights like this. People ask about, was the camp good? How's your weight? How you feeling? It's not about a camp. It's about how you lived for the last 20 years of your life. And for me personally, I've lived an exceptional life in terms of my boxing career and in terms of keeping in shape, keeping discipline, keeping the mind sharp as well as the body. So there will be no banana skins. There will be no slip-ups. There will be no mistakes. There will only be devastating punches and a KO to finish this fight.
And final one to yourself, Chris Eubank Jr. The star of the middleweight division in Riyadh season has been Hamzah Sheeraz. I can see him in attendance here. Are you looking to put on the kind of statement performance that shows you're top dog?
You know, in my opinion, in the middleweight division, nobody comes close to me. You can put any name in front of me, you can put any man in front of me, and they're going to get dealt with accordingly. And you guys will see why I say these things in a couple of days' time.
Okay, best of luck to you, Chris Eubank Jr. Nicholson Szeremeta Saturday night, the Riyadh season debut of Chris Eubank Jr. Let's head up to cruiserweight, where we've got world title action. Jack Massey, Commonwealth and European champion, challenges Jai Opetaia for the IBF World Cruiserweight Championship. And Jack, it's been some ride, it's been some story, borrowing boots and shorts and all sorts from your amateur days, and now you sit here hours away from the opportunity of a lifetime.
It's a massive opportunity, and like I said it before, I know an opportunity when I see one, and I'm going to give it my all. And he'll need that sword what Chris has got next to stop me coming at him on Saturday night, because I'm giving it my all. You know, the reasons why I do this, I'm doing it for my little girl and my family. You know, that's the fire in my belly. And I know he's got the same, he's got a family himself. You know, we're both killers. And that's why it's going to make a fantastic fight. It's going to make a very, very tasty fight. So for the fight fans, it's going to be a great night. And for me, it's going to be a great night, because I'm going to come out of there with that belt.
Jai Opetaia has a bit of a pattern of destroying British fighters. He's got a good record against Brits. But you seem to come here with genuine belief that you are going to rip that title away and change your life. How's the fight actually going to play out, Jack?
Listen, a lot of people are getting it twisted. You know, I'm just another Brit coming over here and going to take a knee or a payday or whatever. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but you're sadly mistaken. It's not happening. You know, I'm going to show him who I am on Saturday night, and it's not just another Brit.
Well, let me bring you in here, Jai Opetaia. You had your eyes laser focused on Jack Massey when he started talking. You're becoming a bit of a Riyadh season regular, but actually this is the first time defending the title. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what you think about your opponent.
Yeah, we're in for a big card, man. Big night. You know, I'm not expecting an easy fight, but I'm ready. I've ticked every box going into this fight. Let's go there.
This is tense, by the way.
Go. Fuck that shit talk, bro. That's it, we're not here to talk. The fight will sell itself on Saturday night. We're both killers. It's going to be a tasty fight, like I said.
Jai, let me just ask you this. There's a feeling amongst pundits and boxing fans that if Jack Massey is going to have success on Saturday, he's going to need to be very aggressive. He's going to need to stick it straight on you. Are you ready for that kind of fight on Saturday?
Whatever he brings, we got an answer for. You know, if he comes aggressive, if he tries the box, I've got an answer for everything he's got. I've got too much ammunition. I've got an answer for everything.
Jack, will you give us your prediction for Saturday night? And don't just give it to all of us. Why don't you look across at Jai Opetaia and tell him?
My prediction, like I said, I am coming home with that title. My little girl is seeing that title.
And Joy, response from you. What's going to happen Saturday night? Tell Jack.
I'm taking that belt home back to my daughter.
Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Joy Opetaia. Thank you, Jack Massey, IBF World Cruiserweight Championship on the line Saturday. That concludes the first part of today's two-part press conference. We're going to do some face-offs down here, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere.
So that was pretty interesting, actually. There's some good stuff in there. Whittaker and Cameron got a little bit tasty for a few seconds. Ben Whittaker on fairly typical form. Not loads said between Skye Nicolson and Raven Chapman, but right at the end there between Massey and Opetaia, that's how we like it, gents, isn't it? That's how we like it, because these are two steely individuals. There's no malice between either of them, really, like between Beterbiev and Bivol, but there was an intensity to that one. And Jack Massey, Ezra, he just wanted to make sure Opetaia knows for certain that he means business and that he's not going to fade, he's not going to wilt, he's going to be resolute from the first bell to the last.
Yeah, man, I like it. It's what fighters need in them, and it's what we want to see as fans as well. But I like at the end that they both said they're going to take the title back to their daughter. That's amazing, man. That adds a bit of spice to it. And I said it previously as well. Jack Massey, he's no pushover. Jai Opetaia, he pushes people over, and like I said, he's been giving British boxers a hard time. So hopefully Massey can come out of this, successful, but it's a very tall order.
Well, there's Michael Buffer. He's joined us. He will be announcing the next press conference. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Spencer Brown up there on the top of the stage. The fighters will be called together for face-offs. Opetaia and Jack Massey don't really need to do one, to be honest with you, after what we just saw there. Matt, let's talk about Skye Nicolson against Raven Chapman as we watch Mohamed Al-Khalel and Jesus Gonzalez square off. We're just really looking forward to it as a fight, because stylistically the formula's pretty obvious, or at least it seems like it is. If Chapman can get inside of that really excellent jab and 1-2 and wingspan and technical skills of Nicholson and take it up close, then it could get very interesting. If she can't do that and Nicholson can keep her on the outside, then it's going to be a long night for her.
Yeah, you ain't going to be a mystic, anything to work out what the tactics there are of both girls. Like you say, Cameron can't afford to stay on the outside. She get her head boxed off. She's got to get inside the jab, close the distance, get on top of Skye Nicolson, and work the body, force a pace, and take her out of her comfort zone, take her out of her groove.
So Cameron and Whittaker just stepping forward, I think.
Cannonball Cameron, then the Surgeon Whittaker. 10-round schedule for the IBF International Light Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, so they do turn around and face each other. You look at Whittaker there with a little bit of a height advantage, and that's something you notice about him. A bit like Josh Buatsi, who's just a few yards away, actually. Whittaker is a lot taller when you meet him for the first time than you think he's going to be. He's probably about 6'3", Whittaker. And Cameron just having a little bit of a chat there. The Sheffield Beterbiev, Ezra. I like that. That was a good line.
That was a great description, but I don't know, man. There's only one Beterbiev, and he says he's from Sheffield, so we'll see what happens with that. But again, me personally, I can't see it. I ain't knocking the kid, but Saturday's way it's all going to unfold, and if he can muster up the strength that the real Beterbiev can do, then Ben's in for a shot.
So those two just making way. I think Skye Nicolson, Raven Chapman are going to be up next. They've looked good all week. I don't think either of those two have got any kind of weight issues heading into this one. Let's just talk about making weight during the week and what making weight is like day by day. These are different conditions. It's hot here. It will be new for some fighters. You're 2 days out, and if you're Whittaker and other fighters on the card, Beterbiev, you're tapering down. This is the business end. It's not pleasant. You'll go through this as well, Ezra, of course. How are you kind of feeling 48 hours out if it's as hard as it should be?
Yeah, well, Eubank said it there about being thirsty. You're definitely thirsty at this point. You probably had maybe a glass of water this morning, and then you probably haven't drank since, and you've got to nice few pound that you're going to take off either tonight or in the morning. Maybe you'll split it over the two. So, yeah, the next sort of 15, 16 hours ain't nice.
How do you find it?
Making weight is a breeze for me, man. I'm a real light heavyweight. And I enjoy the process, you know. It's discipline. You got to apply a lot of discipline. And right now we're at a great hotel, and everyone probably can vouch for what I'm saying. The food's incredible. So I don't know how these fighters are doing it. It's easier when you don't have food around you, but, you know, we all got to go through it many and many times again. But, yeah, man, I take my hat off to them because hot, sweaty, the conditions are rife, but they're getting through it.
I can testify that the buffets at the fight hotel are insanely good, so I'd be staying well away from them if I was on this bill. Eubank Jr. cutting a fine figure there, as he generally tends to. Szeremeta is an experienced guy, European champion. He won that European title on the road. It wasn't really supposed to happen, but he ripped up the script and got the win. And then got that world title shot against Gennady Golovkin. Retired after 7 rounds. He was put down 4 times, but he never gave up. And just watching him come in yesterday to the arena, I just got the feeling that not necessarily this is going to be a final hurrah, but he's definitely going to put it all out there. Ben Whittaker has just stepped up and joined us on stage as Opetaia and Massey face off with customary intensity. So Ben,
a banger.
It's a problem we've had all week. I was just discussing with Matt Lenezra, 2 days out. You're in that weight making process. How are you feeling?
Luckily enough, I made the weight easy, to be fair. I'm an athlete all year round, so for me, weight's not an issue. The work's been done, and it's work time Saturday.
Did you enjoy that up there? As it gets closer to fight night, you're never shy of a conversation, but as it gets closer to fight night, does the fight week obligations become just a little bit more of an imposition?
For me, people talk it, but I gotta walk it. Luckily enough, I do. At the end of the day, Saturday, I gotta focus on myself, get the job done, and head back home.
And it's a fight that you'll have a close eye on, Ezra, I'm sure.
Of course, man. You know, it's a good fight for both boxers. I'm going to keep my eyes on it because I like fighting, I like boxing. But like I said, I expect him to walk through this with flying colours, but you know what time it is when it's hard time.
Is he somebody you think you're probably going to face at some point in the future?
Yeah, I'd like to fight him. I think he'd be great for the British fans. Right now, he's irrelevant to me. I got to focus on Saturday. But after that, he signed with Queensberry, boxer, they're coming over. Why not do it again with Riyadh?
I won't keep you much longer, but let's ask you about the top of the bill, because it's your weight division. Opinion seems divided. Most people change their minds most days. How do you see it?
I've been swapping and changing my answer, but looking into both styles now, for me, it's a Bivol win. I think he's got the engine, the style, the feet, and he can stand there and fight. His resume as well in the last 5 fights, for me, it's a better resume, so I'm going to go for a Bivol decision.
And just finally, before we let you go, this might seem like a slightly strange one. You are naturally right-sided, aren't you?
Right-sided?
Are you naturally right-sided?
Oh.
You're naturally right-handed?
No, I'm left-handed. Yeah.
You see, that makes sense, because in the gym yesterday you were heaving that medicine ball around and I was watching you. I spy on you, you see, when I get the chance. And I noticed that you were stronger on your left side than you were on your right side. So you're actually left-handed.
Yeah, well, when I went in the gym, I went southpaw. But they said, what do you write with? I said, right hand. So they put me southpaw. I mean, put me orthodox. But I'm actually better with my left hand. So the jab, left hook, it's a sweet combo.
Okay, you kind of kept that quiet, actually.
It's alright, man. I still got a right hand. They still got to see.
No, we've noticed. But
I mean, at the end of the day, if they can't block it, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, well, we'll let you go.
Some brilliant left-handed orthodox fighters over the years. Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Marco Antonio Barrera. You know,
okay, I didn't even know that. I've joined the club.
That's nice company to be in.
100%.
Okay, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Good to see you. We'll let you go. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, Matt. The fact that he's left-handed. I didn't know that. I've not heard anyone say that. But just watching him yesterday, the rotation he got into, the medicine ball, throwing it off his left side,
I think
he just looked he was stronger.
Hamzah Sheeraz is as well, so far as I know. He's left-handed orthodox fighter. And, you know, there's been examples of it the other way around. Andy Lee, right-handed southpaw. That's why he had that big right hook. You know, Winky Wright. There's been others as well. Just can't think of them now.
No, it's not as unusual as people might think, and sometimes it is as simple as they'll set you up one way when they take you into the gym, and
or they've just gone in the gym and used their stronger hand as a kid, and then they haven't changed them around. It's worked for them, so they've left them that way.
Okay, well, the main event press conference is being assembled behind us. That will be featuring Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke in that epic rematch that is set for Saturday night. And then, of course, those two gentlemen you see there, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, in what is sure to be just an absolutely sensational fight. Do you, though, think that there's any chance we might see something similar to what happened between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence? Because that was the kind of welterweight equivalent. Again, it was a fight that looked like it might not happen, then it did happen. And amazingly, Crawford just took care of business in emphatic fashion. Can you see that for either one of them?
I don't know. Look, Spence was inactive, wasn't he? There was a big period of inactivity there for Errol Spence. I think that played a factor. That's taking nothing away from Terence Crawford's win, but I do think Spence was below what we expected from him and from the inactivity, where both these guys have been pretty good form coming into this.
How about you?
Yeah, I agree. Errol Spence, I think he had a crazy car crash as well, and he was coming back from a big injury, inactivity. Couple of them together, it's not looking too great to go against, I guess, the pound for pound great, right? But in this fight, I can't see it. They're both on top of their game. They both had good performances in their last, I guess, all fights. So I feel like that can't happen. I can't see it happening. I just see a very aggressive chess match that's going to encounter.
Chris Eubank mentioned it up there, the need to basically live your life a certain way day in, day out. And me and Matt were talking about it earlier, this kind of obsession people have with camps, whereas really your whole career should be just one long camp within reason and then peaking for certain dates. Is that how you approach it?
I really live my lifestyle as a world champion boxer. There's nothing else that I would rather do. There's a lot of people here, and what people don't understand, there's people in boxing that don't like boxing. There's boxers that don't enjoy what they do. They're so good at it, they just do it because they don't know nothing else. I think I even heard Beterbiev say that, I don't like boxing, but it's my work, it's what I do. I love what I do, and that means that I want to be the best I can be every day. So you work hard, and the people who put in that extra work and live that lifestyle and apply that discipline, they're the people that are going to prevail. So with me, you're going to see that. I went to train with Hamzah Sheeraz. He's seen a glimpse of it, and you heard what he said there, which I respect. So yeah, man, I believe Beterbiev, Bivol, Opetaia, I feel like these are the guys who do. And no disrespect to the other people who say it, but I just feel like you can see it in the quality of their performances.
Back to the heavyweights. Did you notice a difference in Frazer in the gym, mentally maybe, from before and after that fight against Fabio Wardley? Because we were talking about it briefly at the start. That kind of hellacious 12-round war, most fighters I've met, they do want one because they want to prove to everybody and themselves that they can do it. But at the same time, once you've had one, it's a hell of an experience, I think.
100%. It's a great box to tick off as a boxer. But coming from my view, I was thinking how hard it would be to motivate yourself to, go again. Because potentially that could happen again, right? But yeah, he's been switched on. He's been switched on more than ever. I believe, in the last camp, he wasn't doing anything near as what he's been doing now. So that's why I'm so excited and so confident in his ability to get the job done in an emphatic way.
And Matt, we were discussing this a couple of days ago. Generally speaking, people seem to think that the fear of the unknown is the most unnerving thing. It can make you really apprehensive, anxious. There's doubt there because you're going into something you don't know what will happen. But then when you do experience what they experienced in the first fight, preparing for the known, if the known is as horrific as that, I mean, it's
worse.
Not much better, is it? I was just saying
it's
it's
a lot
probably
worse. Because you know how bad it is now, and it's always a lot worse than you ever thought it could be. But you also know I came through the other side. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Well, we're just waiting for the main event fighters and promoters, I think, and maybe managers as well will be populating the stage because, as we know, the two fighters, generally speaking, don't say too much. And we had a similar kind of vibe with Fury Usyk, where they're that experienced, and this is the very highest level, and they don't expect to find any kind of weakness in their opponent. They know that they'll have prepared to the max. they don't expect anything other than an incredibly hard fight. And for that reason, they both just accept that the bell will go, they'll get to it, and whatever happens is whatever happens, because you can't really control it.
Yeah, there's no points. Then they know that, like, you know, Fury against some opponents would really get into it because he thinks I can break these guys psychologically, break them down. But he knew with Usyk that was a waste of time. It was a waste of his energy. You know, because Usyk just don't play that game. Do you know what I mean? So he was just very matter of fact, didn't waste energy in the build-up, and just, you know, answered the questions where these two are the same. You know, first of all, English isn't their first language anyway, and secondly, they're just not that type of character. They've got respect, a healthy respect, but they both believe they're the better man.
I talked right at the start about flicking the switch, and when fighters choose to kind of flick that switch during fight week, where you go into fight mode. How is it for you? Do you kind of go there bit by bit during the week, or do you do it quite late when your hands are being wrapped? What's the process?
I can't lie. As soon as a fight's been announced and I'm locked in with my opponent, I'm locked in. My mindset's different. It changes each and every time the day goes by. I'll be honest. I'm in training camp right now, and I'm fighting on the 2nd of November. And I don't train for my opponent. I train for these guys. I train for the world champion. So that's the mindset that I have, and that's what gets me to even push further than I have to, you know what I'm saying? So obviously everyone's different, you know, every box is different. Some people can't find the balance. I find the balance because I have no emotion when I go in the ring. I go do what I need to do. I've got nothing against my opponent, but with that being said, I know how serious the task is, so I know I conduct myself well, and it's all part of the job of being a professional boxer. If you can't do that, then, you know, I guess you're kind of leaving a box unticked. But Beterbiev and Bivol, they don't say too much, but they tick all the boxes. So, you know, I can contradict myself as well with saying that. But again, each of their own.
Matt, during camp, fighters have to perform a series of kind of mental gymnastics a lot of the time, because I remember you telling me a while back that you can use the fear of failure, the fear of falling short during camp to drive you to do that extra set, to make you really want it that little bit more. So you accept it as a possibility, the hideous prospect of defeat. But then when you get to fight week, or whenever it is, you have to suddenly decide that this thing you accepted could happen definitely won't. And that kind of compartmentalisation is what psychologists call it. You have to be able to do it, don't you? Yeah. And if you can't do it, you've got no chance.
No, big time. Look, if you overthink about it, it'll chew you up and you get overwhelmed and burn up all the energy. But you do need it to light a fire under you, you know what I mean, to get you motivated, to push you that bit harder, because we're talking fine margins. But then, and then fight week, it's really about switching off. Once you're weighing, you don't even want to think about the fight, so you get in that change room, you're sitting down and you're having your hands wrapped, then you've got to switch on.
Okay, so another light heavyweights everywhere you look. Joshua Buatsi is coming to join us. Josh, good to see you. We'll have to lean in because the promo's playing in the background. It's not that easy to hear each other. I think you got here, the last couple of days? How are you finding it?
No, I got here a couple of hours ago. Yeah,
okay.
But it's nice. Look, we're in Saudi. It's hot. Great company, great event. I'm looking forward to it.
And let's just get your thoughts straight away on the top of the bill. Beterbiev against Bivol. They're right at the top of the division. You're knocking on that door. You want to box for world titles. What do you expect to see on Saturday?
Just to be honest, I'm expecting to see the two best in the division compete. Someone will come out on top, and I want that winner. I'm here, yes, as a fan, but most importantly, I'm here as someone that wants to fight the winner. So I don't want to get it mixed up. Yeah, I'm here to see a great event, support certain people fighting, but I'm here because I want to fight the winner.
I mean, can you pick a winner? Do you feel like there is an obvious favourite? Most people feel it's a 50-50
I can't pick the winner, Andy. I'll be honest. I thought one guy was going to win when I was in Dubai. On the flight here, I changed my mind. I got here now, I've changed my mind again.
Okay, well, we'll let you go. I think you're a little bit pushed for time, so we'll let you go, Josh.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The main press conference, good to see
sure.
you. Good to see you as always. The main press conference, I think, is not too far away from getting underway. Frank Warren seated, Brad Jacobs, Spencer Brown, Eddie Hearn, Vadim Kornilov, Ben Shalom, Michael Buffer taking his position front and centre. Okay, I think it's time for the smoothest voice in boxing. Which is Michael Buffer, not me, just in case you were confused by that, given the...
That's Ezra.
I was about to say something. But
it's always quite difficult to know exactly when these things are going to start. Everybody's in position and ready to roll. I think we're just waiting for our friends over at DAZN to give him his cue. Okay, I'll say it's going to happen in the next few seconds.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the final press conference for an evening of world-class professional boxing and an evening of history, which is about 48 hours away. And it's all brought to you by Riyadh Season, along with the General Entertainment Authority, promoters, Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotion, Bob Arams, Top Rank Boxing, and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, in association with Gold Star Promotions, Boxer Promotions, World of Boxing, and Sella. Sanctioned by the Saudi Tourism Authority, the Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudi Airlines, New Muraba Development, and Lucid Motors. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, special thanks to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian to the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Turki Al-Sheikh. And now, ladies and gentlemen, when I said at the beginning, this will be a night of history, just think about this. 56 years ago, Dick Tiger was knocked out in Madison Square Garden by Bob Foster. Bob Foster was recognized as the undisputed light heavyweight champion. Since then, only two others have had that title. In over half a century, three fighters coming into tonight have been recognized with the distinguished title of undisputed light heavyweight champion. Michael Spinks, of course, and a quarter of a century ago, Roy Jones Jr. was the first in the four-belt era. So now, going into this fight, this main event, Saturday night, it indeed is an evening of boxing history. Once again here at the Kingdom Arena, where just a few months ago we had boxing history with an undisputed heavyweight championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, they'll tell us more about everything will be our press conference now. So let me introduce some of the people that are seated behind me. First of all, representing Boxer, the CEO, Ben Shalom. Spencer Brown, founder and CEO of Gold Star Promotions. Representing the World of Boxing, Vadim Kornilev. The Chief Operating Officer for Top Rank Boxing, Brad Jacobs. For Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn. And for Queensberry Promotions, Mr. Frank Warren. So, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, when I introduce Brad Jacobs, I would like to add that 42 years ago this month, Brad Jacobs hired me for my first job as a ring announcer. And I was so horrible, ladies and gentlemen, that it was 20 years before he admitted it. So now let's meet some of the fighters that are here tonight and that will be coming out for this special press conference. In addition to our main event, we have a very special heavyweight contest, which will be for, let me make sure I get this right, 12 rounds of boxing for the British Commonwealth and WBA International Championship. The two fighters fighting are both undefeated and look for a big future in the heavyweight division. So first of all, let's meet the challenger. Undefeated in 9 fights, 8 victories, 6 wins by knockout with 1 draw. He is Big Frazer, the Eraser Clarke. Here he is. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Big Frazer, the Eraser Clarke. And let's bring to the stage his opponent. He is also the reigning champion for the British Commonwealth champion. undefeated in 18 fights, 17 wins, 9 big KOs with 1 draw, and he is Fabio Wardley.
And friends know we got that endo. No matter sucker, sitting in a house of pain. And don't knock the ball up, I'll touch up and touch up. You say you can't touch this, and I wouldn't touch up.
Here he is, Fabio Wardley. Undefeated versus undefeated for that contest. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, history. This will be an undefeated champion versus an undefeated champion for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world, our main event. Let's bring out both fighters first with a perfect record consisting of 20 fights, 20 victories, 20 wins by knockout. It's all perfect. Here is the unified, reigning and defending WBC, WBO, IBF, undefeated light heavyweight world champion, Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev. And his opponent, also with an unblemished, undefeated record. 22 fights, 22 victories, 11 big wins by knockout. He is the reigning, defending, unified WBA, IBO, undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighters are here. They're in place. Now to take over, please welcome our host, Dev Salani.
Thank you, Michael Buffer. I tell you, you know it's a big fight feel when Michael Buffer is in town. Let's get a round of applause for Michael Buffer, please. This is a big fight. This is the fight. Undefeated versus undefeated for undisputed in the light heavyweight division. And the chief support is a thriller. Fabio Wardley, Frazer Clarke. If you watch the first fight, you'll know. If this fight's half as good, a quarter as good, we are in for a treat on Saturday night. Well, let's speak a little bit to the promoters first. Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren, I will begin with you. It's been a year of Riyadh season. I can't believe it. I don't know where the time's gone, but what an incredible year and what an incredible event on Saturday.
It's all of those things. You know, this last year has probably been the most exciting, revolutionary period in world boxing. There's no doubt about it. What Riyadh season has done and the fights that they've made happen have been historic. And we're opening the Riyadh season 2024 with the 4-crown showdown, headed by 2 undefeated fighters in a very historic fight. As Mike said earlier, I think it's 2002 since the last undisputed fight, and it's a long time, but let's look at what we got now. We have got 2 of the best light heavyweights in the world, both undefeated, one with a perfect record, and the other one's got a perfect record. He's undefeated. It's just such a superb fight, and anybody who knows anything about boxing will know they're in for a treat on Saturday night. This is where it doesn't get any better. This is what boxing's all about. We've had great fights in the past, and this one I'm sure will be an unbelievable fight that people will not forget about, and it will be a memorable occasion.
Thank you, Frank. And just a quick one from you before we head on soon to Wardley and Clark. Fabio Wardley is your man. Tell us why he wins on Saturday night.
Well, it was a great fight last time. It was a marvellous fight. And Fabio's now signed with us, and we're delighted that he's on board. We've been working very hard to make that happen. I felt that he got the fight last time, but irrespective of that, Saturday night, he's got to show what he's all about. Go in now and make a statement. And if he makes a statement, he gets himself at the big table with the heavyweight scene. And there's nothing more exciting in the world at the moment than the heavyweights. There have been some brilliant fighters in the Riyadh season, superb fights, upsets, you know, just fights that you won't forget about. It's just been a tremendous year. And next year, after the fight, the rematch happens on the 21st of December. Those 3 belts, there's going to be some mandatories due. You're going to get Daniel defending his title, and we'll be announcing that hopefully soon. It's going to be really a big fight amongst all these guys who are coming through, these younger generation fighters, to be in a position to fight for either a mandatory defence or maybe the belts fragment, who knows. But this is a great opportunity to make sure you're involved in the big fights of 2025. It's a massive incentive. And I believe Fabio, who's done it the real hard way, coming from white-collar boxing and making his mark over the last few years and becoming British champion, this is something of a special opportunity for him. And again, I want to thank Riyadh season for making this fight happen and being part of a historical night of boxing on Saturday.
Thank you, Frank. Eddie, I'll bring you in here. Eddie Hearn, of course, of Matchroom Boxing. We'll speak about the main event shortly. Plenty to talk about there. But your opening thoughts on the card, and it probably couldn't happen without Riyadh season, right? Tell us your thoughts.
Well, it definitely wouldn't happen without Riyadh season. And remarkable to sit here 1 year on from the beginning of this journey, this project. I think most people in boxing would call it a dream, to be honest with you. I remember sitting in my hotel room watching Fury against Ngannou. I didn't think it would be very good. I didn't think it would be very big. I was unusually wrong. I sat there and I thought to myself, why aren't I there? Why aren't I involved? And after I slid into His Excellency's DMs, to a lot of unanswered DMs, by the way, eventually I got in front of him. And he told me that this project, this dream, this love of boxing for Riyadh season was going to be a fast-moving train. No one expected it to move at the speed of light. In 1 year, the sport has completely changed. And what we've seen is the best fighting the best consistently over time. From Fury against Ngannou, to the Day of Reckoning, to Joshua against Ngannou, of course, Fury Usyk, the undisputed history-making heavyweight matchup, to one of the greatest fight cards America has ever seen via Riyadh season, to the record-breaking night at Wembley Stadium just a couple of weeks ago when Riyadh season broke all attendance records, to here on Saturday night. For me, as a fight fan, probably the best of the lot. And then we move on again to December 21st. This is a dream for everybody involved in the sport of boxing. It's changed the lives financially of fighters. It's changed the life of enjoyment of people in the industry, not just fighters, promoters, managers, people in the media. And Riyadh has become a second home to many of us. And we feel very strongly and very passionately, not just about the movement of Riyadh season, but the country itself and the way that we are received as an industry when we are here. We are all happy and eternally grateful for the opportunities that have been presented by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, by the Crown Prince, because without them this would not be possible. And we're all sitting here today, lucky people. Look at us. This is boxing. When have we seen this before in our lifetime? Never. Let's embrace it. Let's keep making this sport great, and let's get ready for an incredible night on Saturday. And I know that he receives a lot of thanks, but without the passion of His Excellency, we would not be sitting here today.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
He forgot the 5v5. I know he did. I know.
We've got another 5. I'll get my revenge. But I know you give me a lot of stick, but thank you, genuinely. And I think a big round of applause for His Excellency for everything he's done for boxing so far. That's it now. That's all.
And thank you from us for what we've, especially the 5v5.
Great stuff, Eddie.
Well
A
said.
chilling reminder there of the scoreline. Just a quick one. You've also got Skye Nicolson in against Raven Chapman. I'm sure you're looking to maybe clawing back some of those points.
Well, we need to. It's another opportunity to get a point back. We've got Masood coming up against Liam Davis. We made another incredible fight, Dennis McCann against Peter McGrath. I mean, somehow His Excellency has got me and Frank Warren making the best fights in British boxing in an hour. And it's incredibly enjoyable. And, you know, of course we want to win. But we also want to deliver the fans the greatest fights that can be delivered. And we're seeing that time and time again. And this fight on Saturday, for me, I think it tops them all. Yep. One of the purest, one of the greatest fights. 2 incredible undefeated champions for all of the marbles in the sport of boxing. The undisputed dream. Wherever you are in the world, if you're not lucky enough to be in Riyadh, then tune in on Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Eddie. We'll come back to you shortly to speak a little bit more about the main event. Plenty to discuss there. Let's bring in Spencer Brown of Gold Star Promotions. Spencer, from those early conversations all that time ago, could you have imagined that all of this would have happened, all of these amazing shows? Tell us what you're thinking and how much are you looking forward to Saturday?
Well, I can only reiterate what Eddie said, really. It's been a dream from start to finish. And Turki Al-Sheikh and all his team, they're just a marvel to work with. It's, you know, there's no tentativeness about them. If they say they're going to do anything, they do it. They don't just tease you with fights and say you're going to do this fight and do that. They do it. They put their money where their mouth is. And they changed a lot of people's lives. And he certainly changed my life. And he's a wonderful man. So is all his team. And we come here, and it's like a second home. Like Eddie said, it's like a second home. And we really, it's class and quality everywhere. You know, we come into the country, and everything is quality about it. As you see here, you just don't get it anywhere else in the world. It's of the highest quality, everything. You know, and I can only say I just hope the dream continues. And the fights at the weekend, both 50-50, can't wait. A boxing lover's dream. And thank you very much for everything you've done for us. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Spencer. Brilliant stuff. Well, let's start talking about these fights. Of course, we've got a thrilling heavyweight rematch. Fabio Wardley, Frazer Clarke, the first one was so good. So good. Now, I want to first go over to Ben Shalom, who, of course, represents Frazer Clarke. Ben, state your case. Why is your man going to get the job done on Saturday?
Look, first of all, I want to echo those words. Thank you to Riyadh Season. Thank you to His Excellency. It's an honour to be here. To have Chris Eubank Jr and Ben Whittaker on the same card. To have Jack Massey taking on an absolute dream fight against Jai Opetaia. And then for me to get the best fight of the year on again, the rematch for Frazer Clarke. I think ultimately when Frazer first took on this fight, it was very, very early on in his career. He still has the chance to become the fastest heavyweight to a British title ever if he wins on Saturday night. I believe it's his time. It was a very, very good fight the first time. I think Frazer's learned the worth of 3 or 4 fights from that first fight. I think it's time to step up a level. I think he's going to show his pedigree. I think he's going to show his class. People talk about round 13, but I think this can be a different fight, a fight where Frazer Clarke really makes his name in the heavyweight division.
Thank you, Ben. Let's hear from Frazer Clarke. Frazer, I've heard you say that you are 1,000,000% ready for this fight and you just can't wait to hit something. Well, that something is someone. He's sat over there. It's Fabio Wardley, itching, ready to go.
Again, I just want to thank everyone for making this possible. Big shout out to my amateur boxing club, Burton-on-Trent ABC. I started there at 11 years old, and to be in this position now is incredible. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's been part of the journey. Saturday night, you're right, Dev. You know, I've been itchy knuckles now. It's been a long week. Felt like I've repeated myself a million times. But the talking's nearly over, and it's almost time, to land them gloves on Fabio.
You've been pretty emphatic in saying this time you will win by knockout. You will knock out Fabio Wardley. Did you see things in the first fight to suggest that you can indeed do that?
I got a lot of belief from the first fight, Dev. And this time the mission is seek and destroy. I've done everything in the gym to make sure that happens. I'm switched on, focused. And my desire and my hunger to become the British champion is as big as ever.
Well, let's see what the desire and hunger is like from Fabio Wardley. Fabio, in the first fight, an absolute thriller. You knocked down Frazer Clarke. How can you keep him down?
Yeah, look, the first fight was a thriller. Sometimes you need the right dance partner, to bring out those kind of special fights, special occasions, and for me, there seemed to be something between me and Frazer that we gel. Those fights come together. I even remember coming to Riyadh to commentate on the Fury Usyk card, and His Excellency himself, obviously watching the fight and saying, "When are you going to do the rematch? We want to see it. We want to see it." And I said, "As soon as you say the word go, I'm ready to go." And thank you to you, His Excellency, for having me out here again. I had the opportunity, honoured enough to be here for the first ever Riyadh season, obviously with Fury and Ngannou, and I'm back again for the opening of Riyadh season, so thank you to him. But looking towards Saturday night, look, I saw the damage and the effect that my punches had on Frazer Clarke in the first fight, so there's areas of mistake I made there. A few little minor tweaks needed to be made on the follow-up. I think he got away with it a bit by, like you say, Dev, I knocked him down, but I think he was saved by the bell. It was bang on the end of the round. So look, if I get him going in the first minute, second minute, one thing you know about me is I don't let my opponents breathe. Once I have them going, once I have them hurt, they don't usually end up making it out of that ring.
Are you expecting the same Frazer Clarke that you saw before? We spoke about this earlier in the week, and you mentioned you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Is that very much what you're thinking?
Yeah, look, I think he's smart enough as a boxer to make some adjustments. Whether they will have an impact and whether he'll be able to execute them on the night is a different question entirely. But yeah, look, I do have a strong belief in you can't teach an old dog new tricks, especially when it comes to me, the way I've come into boxing, the way I've done things has been so different, and I've learned on the fly, and I can always change and I can always adapt. So in the middle of the fight, I can change things entirely, and I don't think that's the same for him. He's boxed a very similar way for a long period of his career. So once things start to get a bit heated in there, once sweat starts going and blood starts flying, I think he's going to resort back to kind of just what he knows normally, and that's going to be my area for attack.
Well, Frazer, I'm not going to call you an old dog, but can you learn new tricks? Have you got something new for Fabio Wardley on Saturday?
Dev, with all due respect, I've got nothing else to say really. Seek and destroy, and that's it. I've come for a fight. We've got a fight on Saturday night. Tune in and watch. It's going to be destructive.
That is the prediction. That is the war cry from Frazer Clarke. Fabio Wardley, how do you respond? What is going to happen on Saturday? Give us your final prediction.
Look, Dev, with me, it's war by name, war by nature. Wardley's in the name, it's all there. You know what you're going to get. I've said it from the start. I'm not coming to Riyadh season. I'm not coming to the biggest stage, the biggest event, one of the biggest boxing events to happen in years, and not perform and not put on a show. So for me, if that bell goes, knuckle up, walk forward, round 13, carry on. Let's get things moving.
Let's go. Come on, Fab. Handshake now. I know we're going to do a face-to-face in a minute. Let's do one now.
An impromptu handshake here between Frazer Clarke and Fabio Wardley. I don't know if we need security. Thank you very much, Frazer the Eraser Clarke. Thank you, Fabio Wardley. What a fight. What a fight. That was serious up there, by the way. They sort of didn't want to let go. That is the chief support on Saturday night. Huge rematch. Fabio Wardley, Frazer Clarke. It's now time to start talking about this main event. Undefeated versus undefeated for undisputed. And if that sounds familiar, it's because we did it in May. We did Fury Usyk. Same thing in the heavyweight division, this time in the light heavyweight division. I want to bring in Vadim Kornilov from Team Bivol here. Vadim, you've been with Dmitry every step of the way. Finally, fight night is here. Tell us why your man wins on Saturday.
It's hard to add much when you have Eddie Hearn in your corner. You know, he lays everything out for you and he says everything. But I'm going to try to add a little bit on Dmitry that I think is important. Of course, I want to say thank you to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. If it hasn't been for him, this fight would have never happened. And if it did happen, it would not be on any close terms to what's happening today. This is now a fight that the entire world is going to see as one of the biggest fights in the world. And thanks to Riyadh season and everybody involved, they made it happen. Thank you to Team Beterbiev. I appreciate everybody and the mutual respect. As far as Dmitry, you know, we had a very, very good camp. Gennady Mashyanov, Taylor Ramsdell, everybody put in the work. Dmitry's confident. He's ready to go. I've been with Dmitry in the professional career. It will be 10 years in November of this year. And I remember ever since I met him, he was never really satisfied with whatever he was achieving. Whenever he was, you know, he became a world champion pretty quickly. He was beating tough opposition in his first 10 professional bouts. But he was always kind of saying, you know, there's something else there. There's that undisputed. Only when I'm undisputed can I really call myself a real champion. Because when there's other champions in the division, he's like, I don't really feel that I'm a champion. And he's always asked for this specific fight. He's always, even before Beterbiev was on the line, before Beterbiev was the opponent, with all the other belts, he always said, you know, I'm shooting for undisputed. That's my legacy. That's what I'm here for. When it became Beterbiev, for 3 years, Dmitry has been saying, I want this fight. The fight has to happen. I'm ready for this fight. And even though some people have mentioned things on the timeline, but we were doing everything to make it happen, and the moment was right now. Today I was doing an interview with somebody in the press, and a lot of the interviews that we did during this fight week, a lot of people are talking about Artur Beterbiev, and they're talking about the power and the aggression, and how do you deal with that? You know, the questions are very similar. And somebody asked me today, and I just thought about it, and I thought it was important to mention. Yes, power. Yes, aggression. But this is the sport of boxing. It's a science. There's a lot more attributes to an athlete. And what came to my mind was the words of Bruce Lee. He once said, "Be like water." And I thought that was very important to mention. I know Dmitry's never going to say it because Dmitry just kind of accepts and he says, you know, okay, yeah, there's power. I have to deal with that. You know, I'll see how that goes. But water sometimes, when it's consistent, properly managed, when it's not overly aggressive, with time it can protrude, it can weather through the sturdiest of rock. And I think that's an important answer for all the press that have been asking, because I believe the boxing skills and the science and the persistence and the balance is going to be a very important factor in this fight. And I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, and I appreciate everybody who made this happen.
Great stuff. Thank you, Vadim. Love that. Be like water. Let's hear from Team Beterbiev. Let's bring in Brad Jacobs, who joins us from the States, representing Top Rank. Brad, you have been ringside and watched so many of this man, Artur Beterbiev's destructions. You've seen it up close. Tell us why your man wins.
Very simple. It's hard to argue with perfection. 20-0, 20 knockouts. The man has done it. He's a true professional. If you look up the word professional fighter in a dictionary, you're going to see his picture. What you see is what you get. There's so much on the line in this fight. Undisputed, undefeated. The winner checks his ticket to the Hall of Fame for sure. So we're really looking forward to it, and we trust that the knockout power will win at the end of the day.
Okay, Eddie Hearn, just want to bring you back in here before we speak to the fighters. If you would like to address a comment that you have made about Artur Beterbiev being arrogant. I think you also said that you can get under his skin and rattle him. Give us an update on how that's going and give us your thoughts.
Thanks, Dev. Did I say that? I can't remember.
I think he's arrogant. I think all fighters are arrogant. I think you have to be arrogant. But it was more of a frustration to make sure the world is aware of what this fight is and what it means. Because as stone cold as Artur Beterbiev is, and as stone cold as Dmitry Bivol is, there's still that young boy that found boxing, that changed their life through boxing, that had a dream to win every belt in the sport. And sometimes one-word answers don't always tell me the pure emotion and meaning of what victory would do for them on Saturday night. Artur Beterbiev is one of the greatest fighters of our generation. And the man to my right is one of the purest boxers I've ever seen. And actually, to comment on what Vadim said, Artur Beterbiev has incredible power. Don't worry about the power of Dmitry Bivol. This isn't going to be just a fight of cat and mouse. This is going to be a fight of power on both sides, of heart, of consistency, of feet, of balance, of IQ, of all the wonderful parts, as Vadim says, as the sports science of boxing, the beautiful science. So these guys have dedicated their life to the sport. I think I've slipped out of that question as well as I could. And now we move on to the moment. I didn't get that, but welcome. See you tomorrow. And this is it. This is the moment for both men. I believe Dmitry Bivol will become undisputed world champion on Saturday night. He will achieve his lifelong dream. And he fights to the level of opposition. And he has the greatest opponent in the division in front of him on Saturday night. There is only one man in the world that can beat Artur Beterbiev, and that's Dmitry Bivol. And that will happen on Saturday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Eddie. Half swerved it, I think. I think you said he's a little bit arrogant, so we'll put that to him shortly. Dmitry Bivol, let's speak with you first. Your life has been building to this moment. I've heard you say since you were 6 years old, this is what you have wanted, every belt. Now you are hours away from the big fight. As you look across at Artur Beterbiev, tell us how you feel about this moment.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you all people who was in my career since I started boxing. I want to say thank you all my coaches who was working with me, my team who's now with me, my promoters, Eddie Hearn, my manager, Vadim Kornilov, my promoter, Andrei Rybinski, and all of it helps to me to be here. And of course, I want to say big thank you to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season, and personally to Turki Al-Sheikh. If it's not him, this fight, I don't know when could happen. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I hear you.
Dmitry, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The man sat across from you, 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 knockouts. You've never faced anyone like that. Nobody has. Does it make you more nervous than your other fights when you think about his power and what he could do?
You know, every time when I think about my opponents, I'm getting excited because one of them is the face of boxing. It's exciting to fight against this guy. Another one, he has around 50 fights, never lost. Another guy, he's a champion also, and it makes me more excited, not nervous, not something. And Artur, he's a great champion. He has what I want. He has belts, and it's not only about belts. When I look at his skills, I want to check my skills also against this amazing fighter.
Dmitry, just another one. I've heard you say that you need to be perfect, really, in this fight. You need to win every round. But do you accept that there will be moments in this fight where you will have to stand and fight with Artur Beterbiev?
You know, in my training camp, in my head, always I'm trying to realize how it goes on. And there is a lot of different scenarios. And usually that fighter will be more calm in some situation when he realized it before. He's ready for everything. If he trained some things in his training camp, and this happened in the ring, and he more confident to some situations. And of course, against Beterbiev, we had to do great camp. We had to think about different scenarios, and we did. And now I'm just curious how it will be in the ring.
Well, let's bring in Artur Beterbiev, unified world champion. Artur, you have been on a mission to collect every belt in your division. You have these belts left here. How does it feel to see them? How does it feel to be so close to winning them on Saturday?
Hello, everybody. I think we talk a lot. I want to say, first of all, thank you for His Excellency for making this fight happen. Thank you very much. What do you say? You want to make fight with Eddie? No?
Yeah, he called you arrogant.
Why you do that?
He called you
really
arrogant.
It really can be, but I can do something, you know. Why you?
Don't worry about me. You have to get through him first.
But why you?
When he's finished with you, it'll be easier for me.
Why? We no need finish with him. I finish with him tomorrow.
Really?
But you
Saturday?
Today maybe.
Just
today.
the weigh-in tomorrow.
Maybe today.
Maybe. I don't think it would be a tough fight. You need a real
I think
challenge.
you're not good condition now.
I mean, terrible.
Yeah?
But I think you need to switch on for this guy.
Okay. You talk a lot. I know.
That's my job.
Yeah.
You should try it.
Okay. We'll see in Saturday. This Saturday.
Artur, let me ask you this. Nobody has beaten Dmitry Bivol. Nobody has solved the puzzle, including Canelo Alvarez. Why are you the man to solve this puzzle and beat him on Saturday? And you can't say we'll see.
We'll see. They choose me. They choose me, you know. His Excellency choose me. Okay. Let's do it.
You're a natural light heavyweight.
Huh?
You're a natural light heavyweight. Canelo wasn't.
I don't know. You know, it's not my business. Canelo or someone like. I have now fight on Saturday. I'm focused all for this fight.
Dmitry, people have tried to fight Artur. They've tried to box Artur. Some have been winning fights against Artur, but they all get knocked out. Why are you different?
I don't know. I just different. I just have different name, just different body, different skills. This is why it's so interesting fight, because we all know that everybody is different.
You boxed in June. You had a fight with Malik Zinad. You got a knockout. It was the first knockout in 9 fights. Does that give you extra confidence in your own power heading into Saturday?
You know, I have enough confidence even before Malik Zinad. After Malik Zinad, I have enough confidence. But it's good that it happened in June because I needed that fight and I was enjoying that fight. And it helped me better to prepare to this fight, which will happen in Saturday.
Artur, I know that if I ask you what will happen, you'll say we'll see. But what would you like to happen on Saturday? What's your perfect Saturday?
Good fight, I think so. I'm preparing for good fight. We'll see.
Do you have a message for Dmitry Bivol?
Yeah, be ready. I will too.
Dmitry, final message from yourself. He's told you, be ready. He's going to try and be too. What's your message to Artur Beterbiev?
I'm ready always. I'm ready for Saturday night. And we will talk by actions in the ring.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The fist will do the talking on Saturday. What a fight. Undefeated versus undefeated for undisputed. We're going to do some face-offs, and we'll see you tomorrow for the weigh-in. Thank you.
So there you have it. That's the final press conference for Fabio Wardley against Frazer Clarke, and then, of course, top of the bill, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. We got a little bit there from the main event, Matt. Dev told me before it started that he was going to put it to Eddie that he called Beterbiev arrogant and see if that went somewhere. And it kind of did, because with Beterbiev, it's hard to know when he's joking, when he's being serious. I don't think he really likes the idea that somebody could call him arrogant, and he would seem to be kind of playfully calling Eddie out there.
Yeah, a little bit, but Eddie's smooth as butter, isn't he? He can just wiggle out of any situation. He's so quick with the answer. Also, you got to keep in mind, Beterbiev, it's not his first language. Some people hate public speaking anyway, being up on a stage, being so self-conscious with people on them. You think fighters aren't generally, but when you're in your second language up there, it changes things.
Last time they met, and they're back at it again. Who will be victorious? Big Frazer, the Eraser Clarke, and Fabio Wardley. Undefeated versus undefeated.
Well, it's just a terrific fight. Fabio Wardley on the left-hand side there with those British and Commonwealth titles over his shoulder, and in that right hand, Frazer Clarke, the challenger.
I mean, Frazer didn't have a lot to say, and it is his first language.
The handshake was good, though. I wonder whether that was a tactic by Frazer Clarke, just to make some kind of a move and dictate a turn during the course of the press conference. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has joined us for the press conference, which is great to see. A very, very busy man, and as we've been saying, Matt, for me, this is kind of the signature of what he's been able to do to get these two together, because they're not huge names commercially in the sporting world. They're not going to do the kind of box office numbers that Fury and Usyk can do, or Anthony Joshua can do, or Mayweather did back in the day. And so without Riyadh season, it just wouldn't have paid for itself. Whoever put this on was going to lose an absolute fortune, and he stepped in and given us what we wanted.
Exactly. He's decided he wants to make the best fights. And, you know, if somebody makes money, somebody breaks even, and if he has to lose a bit or a lot to get the best, fight the best, he's prepared to do it. And that's the bigger picture vision, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And I know there is an awful lot more planned for the coming months, the coming years, and His Excellency just led away there by George Warren, who of course has been such an integral part of everything since around about this time last year. I was out here for Fury and Ngannou. I didn't really know how big it was going to be, and you just saw the scale of everything right from the very first event, and it's been like that every day since. And this is an icy stare-off between two very resolute characters. Bivol just chooses to turn away first, but they're not going to set any kind of store by any of that. They really are just waiting for the night. And interesting to hear Bivol say, Matt, he's just curious to see what it's going to be like sharing a ring with Beterbiev. Most people, I'd say, are a bit anxious rather than curious, but that's just him admitting that until you get in there with someone, you just don't really know, do you?
Yeah, you don't know. You prepare the best you can. You try and cover all angles or eventualities. But until you get in there, especially with someone like Beterbiev, who's such a fearsome puncher, you don't know till you feel it. Look, they're both ready. They're both ready. I believe both of them are going to perform to the best of abilities, and whoever the best man is going to win.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it will be that simple. The start of the fight will be fascinating because they'll both just be having a look. They'll be trying to see if they can pick up anything in terms of a read, in terms of any kind of a tell that they can pick up on to see what's coming their way. You can watch tape as much as you like and you can study as much as you want, but there is nothing that can really prepare you for the actuality of sharing a ring 20 square feet with another operator who is just so adept at traversing it and navigating it. One thing you could say, I guess, Matt, is that Bivol's been down the stretch a load of times, so he knows better than Beterbiev what a 12-round fight is like. But 12 rounds against somebody who's not the guy he faces on Saturday, how much does it really mean?
Yeah, he has done 12 rounds lots of times, but he'll never have done 12 rounds under the kind of pressure he's under on Saturday against Beterbiev, because he carries that threat and because he's so good with his feet at cutting off and manoeuvring you into corners. So it's double whammy. He's done the 12 rounds a million times. He's super fit. He'll be in great condition, but it'll be a harder 12 rounder than he's ever done before.
Well, I think that's absolutely guaranteed, and the DJ is delivering the goods here, as he has done all week. Just a strains of Rocky echoing around behind us. Not too long now, really, for the fighters to wait. This is the first really formal thing they've had to do this week, I would say. They had the content day, as we describe it, on Monday, where they sit down and do a lot of interviews, and you get kind of what you need for the week, because you're not quite sure what will happen after that. It depends how the mood takes them, really, as to whether people are prepared to let you in the gym or sit down. And I do find it quite interesting, Matt, as to who does want to do that and who doesn't want to do that. Jai Opetaia and Jack Massey have been happy to let us in. Artur Beterbiev was happy to let us in for half an hour. Some people close the doors and don't want anyone anywhere near them. Is that just purely a personality thing? I guess if you're struggling with weight, you probably don't want people to see that. Is there too much to be read into any of that?
Yeah, I don't. Overall, I don't think there's a right and wrong. I think what works for you, what you're happy with. Everyone's different personalities. Obviously, conditions do play a factor. If you were struggling for weight, or you're nursing an injury that you don't want anyone to know about, then you're not really going to want to do a public workout with people in there. Whisperers get out, don't they? So, yeah, those things will play a part.
The heavyweights, of course, don't have to make any weight. Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke. You would imagine that they'll hit the kind of weights we've seen them in their last few fights. I don't expect them to be wildly different. But speaking to Ezra Taylor, Frazer Clarke's gym mate, and given what we think he's probably going to look to improve on for the second fight, maybe he will be just a little bit lighter. He'll have worked even harder on that conditioning, because for him, being able to hold that shape and deliver that jab and those nice crisp textbook punches, which is what he's capable of, the deeper into the fight he can do that, the better. And that is a conditioning issue, isn't it?
Big time. When you're tired in that last third or last quarter of the fight, you get a bit ragged, you start to lose your shape, you make more mistakes, you get picked off and countered. So you can be disciplined, conserve energy, and be more conditioned as well. So it's a two thing. Be a little bit fitter if you can, be a little bit lighter. Those are things you can do physically. And then tactically, if you can be a bit smarter, a bit more economical with not just your punch out, but maybe even your movement. And the more you hold your shape when you do get tired down the stretch, the better you're going to perform, the less mistakes you're going to make, and probably more rounds you're going to win.
The thing with Wardley, though, is that he does have that kind of unorthodox style that can be difficult, really, really difficult to deal with, because he wings in shots from wide and they explode into your field of vision late. If you like, they appear on your radar late, because they'll come in from the side or maybe from the top if it's an overhand, or he'll scoop an uppercut up from down by his ankles. And that's a problem, isn't it? Because sometimes it'll mean you're not totally braced for it, and the less braced you are, particularly at heavyweight, the harder it can be.
Yeah, look, Frazer's more technically well schooled because he come through the amateur system, etc. So he's easier to predict what he's going to do, where Wardley's came through the white collar route and learned in the pro gym, and the hand's a bit lower and a bit looser, and will wing a shot, like you say, wide outside the peripheral vision and get hit with the shots around the back of the glove. So yeah, he is more awkward, more unorthodox in that way, but you know, he also faded, and he faded quite a lot. I think he used up a lot of energy, a lot of steam when he did hurt Frazer, maybe going for the finish, loading up. I think he'll pace it a lot better this time.
Well, there's just so much to look forward to. That concludes things at the press conference. We've got the weigh-in tomorrow. The heavyweights, of course, don't have to make it. Everybody else does. It's always interesting to see what people look like on the scales. They'll have a final face-off. And then for the fighters, finally, all that work is done, and they then can just look forward to the night. And what a night we've got ahead of us on Saturday. Undefeated against undefeated for Undisputed, just like we had back in May at heavyweight. The massive fights just keep on rolling. Do make sure you join us for the weigh-in tomorrow. Until then, take it easy, everybody.
Champions are not born. They're forged.
The world is watching.
Crowned in the ring. It takes the heart of a lion, the mind of a strategist, and the soul of a warrior. Every challenge is an opportunity.
What a masterpiece tonight. How is he still on his feet?
Every setback, a lesson. It demands an unbroken will and refuses to bow.
Do you believe this?
But this is not just about winning. This is about turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. Building a legacy and becoming undisputed.
And it's an instant classic.
Undisputed. Available now.